It's the 15th of July, 1685. Outside the Tower of London, executioner John Ketch is about to carry out one of the most memorable executions in English history. The victim is wig-wearing dandy, the Duke of Monmouth, the illegitimate son of a king who has just led a failed rebellion to snatch the throne. Today he faces the traditional noble's execution, beheading. In theory, a cleaner, swifter death than hanging. But in the hands of Axeman John Ketch, it will turn very messy. The first blow barely grazes Monmouth. Then, to the astonishment of a vast crowd, he rains down blow after blow without removing Monmouth's head. So how did Ketch get his big moment so hideously wrong? OK, next up, we've got a severely botched beheading.
So you're saying, actually, the Tower of London might be no good at the thing it's most famous for?
Exactly, exactly.
OK.
I'm going to look into how beheadings were carried out.
Yep.
And if you could look into the executioner's tools, his axe.
The axe, OK.
By 1685, John Ketch had years of experience as hangman to London's common criminals. But beheadings were different. They were reserved for nobility, and Ketch had only swung the axe once before. On display at the Tower is the closest match we have to the tool Ketch used, a 400-year-old axe. But was it fit for purpose? To find out, I just need to locate an axe maker.
Go back to the time of Monmouth's execution, and I suppose there would be blacksmiths everywhere in the country, probably in every local parish. These days, of course, that's not the case, but we have managed to find a bladesmith, Owen Bush. You've been to the Tower of London, you've seen the axe there. I want your professional opinion. What did you make of it?
It's an absolutely massive axe, and it's not, strictly speaking, an executioner's axe. It's a woodworking axe. So it's been designed for getting in close to wood and shaving wood off. So it's very similar to an axe like this. You can see you've got the blade along one side with the handle slightly offset, and it's got a chisel edge on it.
Oh, so you're up against something quite close and you're sort of
shaving
just shaving stuff off.
There'd certainly be a skill to using it if you were not going to use it as a woodworking axe.
Now this is a bit of a surprise. Owen reckons the Tower's axe is more suited to doing a bit of woodwork than slicing off heads.
What would you have expected for an executioner's axe?
Well, I would have expected to look somewhat like this. The whole weight in the axe head is running straight the way down through the middle of the blade, and if you were to pick it up above your head and chop someone with it, it's not going to want to pull you offside. But the one in the Tower is offset, and it's got a bit of a kink where the head is. So you've got an axe that has all its weight hanging off one side.
Were 17th century executioners using an axe that simply wasn't up to the job? That's Owen's theory, but he knows the proof of the axe is in the chopping. He's now going to make a replica of the axe from the Tower to see whether it was the fault of the axe, not the man wielding it.
On execution day, Hangman Ketch wasn't just faced with an unfamiliar tool. He had to publicly slaughter a folk hero, the Duke of Monmouth. Monmouth was the son of King Charles II, but he was illegitimate. So when Charles died in 1685, the throne didn't pass to him, but to his uncle, King James II. Monmouth was incensed and planned a rebellion. It would gain widespread popular support, but he could never convince the army to join his revolt. In July 1685, Monmouth was captured and sent to the Tower. There, James II decided to make an example of him, with an execution in front of a vast London crowd. get a sense of the atmosphere that day, I've come to London's biggest stadium. Today is Cup final day, and 90,000 football fans have flocked to Wembley.
And we have to imagine that the Duke of Monmouth's execution was something a bit like this. A vast crowd gathering, food stalls being set up, and lots of people being a bit rowdy, but also families too. Because macabre as it might seem to us, this was a great event at which everybody gathered. And like these football fans, many of the crowds at Monmouth's execution weren't just there to watch, they were there to heckle, to shout, and many were also just as partisan as this lot here.
Monmouth was immensely popular and had an army of fans. The crowd was on his side and wanted his death to be as painless as possible. For John Ketch, the pressure was really on. Ketch's first blow merely grazed Monmouth's head. The second did make a slightly deeper gash, but the third failed to finish the job, and Ketch bottled it.
God damn it, I can do no more. My heart fails me.
The Axeman had to be ordered to finish the job, but 2 or 3 blows later, Monmouth's head was still on, and Ketch resorted to using a knife.
Standing at the heart of an enormous hostile crowd, Ketch must have experienced something akin to stage fright, and I feel some sympathy for him. As each blow failed to deliver a clean beheading, the hostility must have grown to the point that Ketch found it unbearable. Was it this alone that explains Ketch's hideous failure?
Back at the blacksmith's, blade maker Owen is putting the finishing touches to his replica Tower of London axe.
Here's your axe.
Owen, that truly looks like the stuff of nightmares. That's incredible.
Well, it would be a nightmare if it was your head on the block, wouldn't it? It's as close as I could get to the one in the tower. It's got this kink in it.
So it kinks round?
Yeah.
Time to put this axe to the test.
So you want to have your opposite leg back.
Okay.
And you're dropping as you cut, so the action is to come down.
Yeah.
Owen has challenged me to strike this reed matting between the 2 red lines. Now, will I be as wayward as John Ketch?
So, I've lined it up. Gosh, it feels so odd. And I've missed.
You missed the neck.
I genuinely was going
his head
between the red lines, and I've just put it in the back of the head.
So I wonder if that's because of the offset.
It is on that side, isn't it? I find it quite difficult to look down it, because I'm sort of looking down the pole, and then I came down on that side.
My axe would have crashed into Monmouth's skull, not sliced through his neck. The weight and kink had a real impact on my aim, and this seems a poor axe to behead someone with. Ketch himself had to use a knife to remove Monmouth's head, which makes me think, would a thinner blade have been preferable?